Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, so you already know you got us here bringing you the news, the local, the international, everything in between. I got a new friend here. Hey, Stork. He's joining us from the Quiet Pod podcast mostly. I know you do a lot of work on Timcast Discord and other shows, so I'm glad to have you. What's up?
Not much. I just realized how much I actually am doing on the like the thing is I'm not on staff. I'm not getting paid for this. I really am just a volunteer. But it's getting towards the holiday season, I think, and people they have lots of stuff going on in their life, and so I'm filling in here and here and here and here, and then so I'm just like all over the place. And so I know we've joked about it, but I guess tonight was the first time I was really like, no, really, you are doing everything, dude. You need to slow the hell down.
Yeah.
So,
No, it can get addictive. I used to do this stuff on Timcast Discord as well. And it's just like becomes one thing after another, but it's a great community over there and it kind of like lures you into doing it. But yeah.
I don't know if addictive is the way. More like what was the joke in a movie about a fungus that grows on you or something? I've the funny part is there's very few things that I've ever been like normally like in a volunteer situation, you go into a group chat or something like that, and everybody's like, hey, does anybody want to do this? But very, very few things, now that I'm thinking about it, very few things have been, hey, I'll do this. all of it has been, hey, you're a volunteer now. Hey, by the way, you're going to be on this. Hey, by the way, nobody's going to be here tonight, so you're going to go to do this. Hey, we need somebody to fill it together, so you're going to be doing it. Almost all of it has been that, and I've been like, is this normal? They're like, no, but you'll do fine.
We'll just press the button and you start talking. It's crazy too, because like when you're on these kind of platforms of like streaming, the streaming services and stuff, you could be pretty much anywhere. So it's simple in that regard. But yeah, you can end up just doing like a ton of stuff. But yeah, we're really happy to have you here. So thank you so much. I'm excited that you're joining. I've watched a couple of Quiet Part podcasts where you were on, and I enjoyed your commentary and stuff like that.
I'm sorry that you were mentally afflicted by such an action, and I hope you didn't lose too many IQ points. I hope this conversation isn't coming away with me looking smarter, because sometimes it happens.
It's talking about IQ points. That's
kind of
a good segue for our first story. But just real quick, if you want to follow the show, you can follow it on X at @therealroma_AK. You could follow me on X if you like, Elizabeth213A. You're on X at Madstork91.
Yeah, I'm at Madstork91. I comment on a lot of broad things. I am a gamer, and I am playing a few games more religiously. So sometimes you're going to get a dumb game take, and sometimes you're actually going to get something political. So it's kind of a wide variety there.
They kind of overlap a little bit too. I feel like the games are basically just art imitating life. Like
ever since 2015, man, it's hard to separate life from games.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny about it is the what was it, the Great Plague outbreak or whatever in World of Warcraft was big news because epidemiologists had studied it at the time, and people looked at me like I was crazy. Now there's entire studies written on this. There's like books written on this subject, and yeah, I brought it up one time in a group of friends. They looked at me like I was the dumbest person imaginable, and I'm just like,
well, anything that sounds kind of like off the wall at first, you know, it gets pushed down until people say, wait a minute, let me just kind of look and see.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
No. Changing the subject.
No, it's great. So, okay. Let's get back to the government shutdown, because unfortunately that's still going. Hopefully they resolve it tonight. I don't really know. I know, you know, they're still having conversations. I think they passed the first vote onto the second one, but there's one that kind of looms over everything, and it's this from The Guardian. Republican disquiet over hemp ban threatens passage of bill to end shutdown. A last-minute provision in the federal spending bill heavily restricting hemp-derived products such as CBD, THC drinks could lead some Republicans to vote against the spending bill, which, if passed, could end the government shutdown as early as Wednesday, today. Kentucky is one of the largest producers of hemp in the country, and Republicans in the state have shown strong support for the hemp industry. Jonathan Miller, an advocate for the hemp industry and former Kentucky state treasurer, said that, quote, Kentucky is a really ground zero for the rebirth of hemp, a niche industry until the 2018 Farm Bill allowed a much wider variety of legal products. On Monday night, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul broke with the Republican Party and voted against the bill because of the hemp provision, which was revealed at the 11th hour and which Paul tried unsuccessfully to have removed. Miller said Congress has been battling around provisions to ban hemp for months. Here's a quote from Miller. First, it was part of the Farm Bill. Later was part of last year's spending bill. He said Paul successfully had the provision blocked before it found its way back into the bill. Fast forward to November, the deliberations behind the scenes of the appropriations bill mean the hemp provision has been added to the minibus. The addition concerning spending over various sectors, including agriculture. Senator Mitch McConnell and Congressman Andy Harris were instrumental in adding the provision, Miller said. The current version of the provision, quote, criminalizes any product that has more than 0.4 milligrams of total THC per container. That's basically zero. 95% of hemp products have more than 0.4 milligrams, Miller said. The 2018 Farm Bill's only restriction on hemp was that it contained less than 0.3% Delta 9 THC. The new provision would ban THC in all forms, including Delta 8 THC and THCA, which are common in hemp products, and would also criminalize non-intoxicating CBD products with trace amounts of THC. You know, because they have to watch with the wording and stuff like that if it kind of like gives a more broad interpretation.
Well, if I can real quick,
yeah.
Historically, Kentucky, I didn't know this until basically the last couple of days, and I really did not know this information, but historically, Kentucky apparently has been, again, just they are one of the top hemp producers historically. If you go back,
that's crazy, right?
They were apparently the main producers of it. There was a video that I was watching, essentially going through the history of just hemp products. They were like, yes, this is related to all this and all of this information over here, but let's forget about all that. Let's just focus on what it is you can do with hemp. And did you know that when cotton blew up as a major product, the bags that they put all the cotton in was hemp? Yeah, and literally you start getting into this, the sails, the rope, because I had heard about the rope before, like being on like sailing ships and stuff like that, and how there's strong, like really strong rope. And you know, you look at this and it's insane why we're not using this product that's there for everybody to use and actually make use of. And I don't understand just plain idiocy of the whole thing. Like, why would you not go ahead and do that? That's just, and yeah, it just blew my mind, because apparently it was the major crop in Kentucky. Now it was tobacco for like the last 100 years, because that took off. But before tobacco, hemp was really the main product here. And again, it's used feed, a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of actual industrial material that essentially can be used and utilized for hemp, but I think that's why they don't let it happen.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
what,
because it threatens a lot of different industries that have made trillions of dollars, over time.
yeah, yeah. The main guy, going back to this, and I don't mean to be on a THC rant or anything, but William
No,
Randolph
rant
Hearst.
away. You're on Sunset Rants, man.
Well, yeah,
Let it rip.
well, the whole William Randolph Hearst thing or whatever, and the replacement of paper, he had kind of a little bit of an interest in the paper manufacturing, and that appears to be the main threat there. I started looking into a lot more things recently on, and kind of, how do I want to put this? Why certain things are being regulated, and it seems like there's much more of a reason for things to be regulated having to do with the displacement of products than anything else. And so I don't really get that. I guess I mean, it's kind of blowing my mind because again, I'm not a huge like hemp guy. I'm not a smoker. I have inhaled once, didn't like it.
All right, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, no, I've inhaled once and didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm not that guy. But at the same time, I'm sitting here like, what
There's
the
other
hell?
reasons for it. Yeah, and also the question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the worst part about it is they're complaining about the what is it, the 0.4 or something like that. And I listened to some farmers talk about this earlier today. I didn't know we were going to cover this topic, by the way. I was not aware of the topics that we were going to discuss beforehand that much. I had like 40 minutes to do a quick read through things. And what some of the farmers were talking about is apparently when their when their crops go hot, which is what they were calling it, which is when it goes above the 0.4 level, it's kind of just random. And the 0.4 isn't really enough to get that high off of, from what I understand. Like, it's one of those, like, you have to do a hay bale of weed, basically, before you're going to really...
You'd have to have, like, a 6-pack of these seltzers in order to feel anything. Any kind of, like, relief or calming or anything like that.
Yeah, and so the 0.4 really isn't big, but these guys are hitting 0.45, 0.5, something like that. And these, it's destroying entire things. And the weird part about it is they could just say, hey, we're going to monitor how you harvest these crops and what you do with them. We're not going to destroy things. We're just going to monitor. But they don't do that. They go through, they burn the entire farm, they take the whole thing out, and it's just, it seems, there are some things that I've seen the government do over the last, years of my life, kind of thing, and I'm just wondering, why are you retarded? I personally love the word retard, and the reason that I love the word retard is because it quickly identifies a situation or argument that somebody's putting forth that may or may not be in bad faith, but also essentially muddies the water, conflates things with other things.
It's literally a definition of slowing down. You know what I mean? Like the slowing down of whatever you're.
I'll tell you something funny. I tried to look up the word retard yesterday, and they removed that from most definitions online. Anyhow, literally, it will just only talk about the mental disability. But I looked it up yesterday. But again, it seems that the government is just trying to get in its own way. And I don't get it. The rest of the world, meanwhile, has started making hemp products like crazy. India is apparently one of the biggest hemp farmers in the world. Apparently, certain countries in Africa have started producing hemp.
Great! So we're heading down a path to where our industry that we kind of like are spearheading is being crushed, and then eventually people are going to have to buy from overseas.
Yeah,
kind of thing. That's great. I love that we're doing that again.
Once upon a time, Germany was kind of one of the leaders for industry and power output in terms of like producing energy. And now they buy all their energy from France. And I feel that's what we're really getting into, is we're really developing dependency on other people.
It's like we're the farm system for Major League Baseball. Like we don't get to the World Series. We just kind of like, start everything up, cultivate it, and then, we send it off to another team to get the win.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because I was in a conversation about something completely unrelated. But yeah, and we're not even going to talk about it this evening, but the way that some of that works, we have set up industries across the globe to basically do things, and now that we're trying to do it ourselves again, people are like, we can't do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean they know better how to do this, even though we exported our industry to that country 50 years ago? Why
Yeah.
would we need them to train us on how to do the advances in technology for the last 50 years?
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I mean, you mentioned a lot of great points, some of the things that I didn't even really know about or think about. But like when it comes to just people using it for muscle pain or to calm them down if they have heavy anxiety, because there's different strains of things that help with different things. The most part, and I think it's a big part of it too, is the alcohol industry would be upset because there's even studies that are coming out that alcohol consumption is down, especially among young people. They're doing a lot of vaping and different things like that, and different hemp things like that, but also big pharma with their painkillers. Yeah. So back on October 24th of this year, a letter signed by 38 attorney generals asked Congress to close what they call a loophole that allowed for Frankenstein THC products. And I guess that what you were kind of talking about is kind of, you can't, it's kind of the monster that you're creating. You don't know what it's going to be like, that get adults high and harm or even kill children. Now, and they say Republicans don't virtue signal. While those concerns stem from gummies that appeal to kids, industry experts say the law change would affect THC beverages. There's, one of the main ones here is the seltzers that usually come in cans with like 5 or 10 milligrams of THC. But this new law, it's going to limit it down to 0.4, which you had mentioned is nothing. Bob Galligan of the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild, he said that the federal law would decimate the industry. He said breweries would no longer be allowed to sell products out of state. All aspects of their production and distribution would have to occur in Minnesota, and they'd have trouble finding banks willing to offer loans for federally illegal product. They're hoping the state provides them a way to pivot their business under the new rules. However, senators like Rand Paul, Amy Klobuchar, and Tina Smith, they voted to stop this provision. So that's just one aspect of, because it started in 2018, the Farm Bill was passed. So what is that? 7 years now they've been able to kind of do their thing, build their businesses, invest their money, and all that kind of stuff, hire people, and now you're gonna backtrack on it and say now we have a problem, which I don't understand, because you have beer in those same refrigerators, different alcoholic beverages that are at the 5-point mark. If you're so worried about what it's going to do to children, why don't you take all of that out of the fridges? Because I would more worry about a child getting a hold of a bunch of beer than just one of these seltzers.
I mean, here's the thing. I have friends who are you familiar with Baha'i? Just out of curiosity, I don't want to go off and explain this too much, but it's a religion essentially that is a synthesis of most Abrahamic religions. So they take a little bit from Christianity, a little bit from Islam, and a little bit from Judaism. It's an interesting religion, but they have very strict rules about taking any sort of a depressant, anything that essentially suppresses. But they're fine with things like tobacco because that essentially energizes. It's an interesting religion. But the reason that I bring that up is because they are against things, and I don't want to get into too much drug paraphernalia with stuff, but they're against things that alter your mind to go against it, but are okay with certain other things. But even they, as strictly and as weirdly dogmatic and technical as they're being about stuff like that, they're fine with you doing things like CBD. And I think CBD is probably one of the greatest natural advancements of what it is that we're doing, because there are kids with all kinds of seizures, issues like that it just instantly cured. And what's funny about that is now they're making drugs basically based upon these endocannabinoid, cannabinoid or whatever receptors in the body.
Right.
And they're like, well, you don't need to take the CBD. We have a new drug for you.
Exactly. And a lot of doctors, we have a whole medical marijuana program.
You're clanking.
If the private sector, hear me good now?
Yeah, I can hear you good. You cut out. Your video is kind of chopping. It's catching up. It's going to space. It's coming back down.
Oh,
I can see it.
I'm trying to go travel to where the Northern Lights are because I don't get them here in New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like, that's another thing that I'm thinking is that like a lot of the medical industry has embraced medical marijuana. So I'm wondering if they kind of want to kill the private sector as well, so that way it pushes more people to have to get the prescription for it.
Yeah. It's starting, Brian. It's kind of there on the edge. It's getting there. But yeah, no. The way some of that is working and being used for some of those things going forward is amazing. And I've looked into. I have taken CBD oil before for things like inflammation and stuff, and it does appear to work. I think I've found better things essentially for that. But in the last year probably, and this is not medical advice, guys, to go see your doctor.
Right.
But what it is that I've discovered is most of what we take as medicine is really just kind of ripped off stuff that exists in nature.
And everything that's added in begets more medicine, oddly enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like smoking tobacco. Smoking tobacco isn't the problem really so much. It's what else they put in the tobacco. Like you're putting arsenic and formaldehyde in cigarettes. Cancer, just for the record, comes from the formaldehyde. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And so no, it's. I think we're looking at an industry that's basically sitting there saying, the big pharma wants a piece of it, and I think that's the big deal from the medical marijuana. The hemp products, essentially, that can be made from this should be deregulated and just be allowed to be produced.
Yeah.
And this is just how I feel about it, kind of thing. I'm not anti-smoking weed. I said something a long time ago that a lot of people like, which was smoking weed is not a problem. It's when you let weed smoke your life.
Everything in moderation. Everything and anything. Anything you engage in. You know, you want to have a bowl of fruit. That's wonderful. You have a tub of fruit. Yeah, you're going to have a sugar spike. You know, like anything that's good. You have, you know, spinach is awesome. You know, Popeye loved it. It gave him strength. If you have a whole pot full of shrimp, shrimp, you might have some issues of leaving the house anytime in the next couple of days. So everything in moderation. But yeah, no. And I'm surprised at Rand Paul too, because he's been so vocal against, you know, big pharma and you know, all of the alleged, you know, actions of Fauci and all this other kind of stuff. You would think that he would kind of embrace things that would be a little bit more holistic, but I guess I don't know him as well as I thought. I mean, I don't agree with him on a couple of different topics, but I just, you know, I don't really know what his game is here. Like, it just seems like he's just being like the contrarian to everything. But
yeah, well, I've spoken a lot about they don't want to solve problems they can campaign on, because then they're not going to have something they can campaign on, which, you know, kind of is an issue. And I brought this up way a long time ago, like 2008, 2009. I was in a group of friends. One of them was smoking at the time. You know, we're sitting there, we're talking about politics. Obama was, you know, being inaugurated, all that stuff, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, you know, I think that the real issue here is gay marriage. That's really going to be an issue that we're going to have to talk about, blah blah blah. And they're like, well, you know, who cares? You know, they really, it's going to be okay. You know, we're against it. I'm not really for that kind of shit, man, and all that. And they go off on it. And I'm like, yeah, but I think the Democrat Party is going to have a hard time. I think Obama's going to be a 2-term president, but they're going to have a really hard time settling down on an issue, because gay marriage has kind of been one of their things that they've really campaigned on, and they're not going to have that anymore. And what did you see? After gay marriage was passed, a bunch of those gay guys said, we believe in fiscal responsibility.
It's kind of like when they pushed you know, women to vote. It's like, oh, this will be great, so that way we could try to, you know, pass the prohibition. But then it was like, wait a minute, they're actually going to have a voice on other things. Wait, hold on.
I have a cup of tea that's still in here from this morning, so I was like, so you passed gay marriage. We believe in fiscal responsibility now. Yeah, it's one of those kind of
You're
things.
supposed to be on our side. We gave you everything. How could you? But yeah, all right. So you know, so more on, you know, just kind of like the government and everything that's going on. Let's get to our next story from USA Today. Trump ratchets up pressure on Supreme Court not to overturn his tariffs. President Donald Trump is ratcheting up pressure on the Supreme Court not to overturn his tariffs, arguing that an adverse decision would create a financial and national security crisis so big the U.S. may not ever be able to recover. Trump claimed in a post on social media that the potential harm of halting the tariffs and issuing refunds was far greater than what the government's lawyers argued in court, because they did not take into account the total amount of money that U.S. is projected to bring in over the next decade. Trump's tariffs had generated roughly $100 billion in tax revenue by the end of October. However, the Congressional Budget Office projected the tariffs would generate $3.3 trillion in revenue over a decade and allow paying off debt faster to reduce interest payments by $700 billion over a decade, for a total of a $4 trillion value to the government. The Justice Department, in fact, told the Supreme Court in a written filing that the tariffs will reduce the national debt by $4 trillion. And Neil Katyal, the lawyer representing the small businesses challenging the tariffs, highlighted that amount during the court's November 5th oral arguments to emphasize the scope of revenue-raising power the president is claiming. Still, Trump said the court, quote, was given the wrong numbers. Another quote here, the unwind in the event of a negative decision on tariffs would be including investments made to be made and return of funds in excess of $3 trillion. It would not be possible to ever make up for that kind of drubbing. This was a Truth Social post that Trump wrote. That would truly become an insurmountable national security event and devastating to the future of our country, possible non-sustainable. The pressure campaign on the high court came after justices who have often ruled in Trump's favor voiced skepticism in nearly 3 hours of arguments on November 5th over his ability to bypass Congress and unilaterally impose sweeping tariffs. Only Congress has the power to impose taxes, and that's why that's always the argument of whether or not these tariffs are taxes on the American people. Justices indicated they had concerns about legislators' ability to curb the president's power to impose tariffs in the future. Reimbursing the tariffs that have already been paid came up during the hearing, with Justice Amy Coney Barrett asking about the level of difficulty the government would face if it had to issue refunds. Katyal, the lawyer representing businesses opposed to the tariffs, argued that the potential strain was not a reason for the court to side with the administration. He said the court could opt to strike down the tariffs moving forward. Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. I don't pretend to be really good when it comes to navigating the struggles of the economy and how, you know, certain things take time to come to fruition. When you implement something, you have to prepare for some kind of like a hurdle to go over before you actually get to the fruit of it. Or if in fact you are going down the wrong path and eventually it'll never come to fruition and it's just further, you know, bringing down the economy. But the way that I look at it is every time. So like in Trump's first term, there was a lot of things that he implemented economic wise. And I believe that he was setting it up so that way he can kind of continue that on in his potential second term that was supposed to follow him right up, which he thought that he was going to win, and just and be able to kind of continue on the path to make it work out, because it was something that it had to continue to be worked on and had to continue to be like kind of moved around and fixed and, you know, done in the right ways. And if you don't allow that progress to continue, then it's going to fall apart in its infancy, because it's such a risk in a lot of different ways. Like he's talking about changing the entire way that we function as a country, like buying, you know, goods and services from here rather than buying it from ourselves, and, you know, that kind of industry stuff. So well, I don't even know if I'm explaining it right. I
mean, you are. It's just, I don't know where I'm supposed to jump in here. I'm sorry. It's the first time I've been with you, and I want to just be like cutting in on you. But
no.
If only there were some things that we could produce in the United States that could supplant the importation from other countries. If only there was some textile good, for example, that we could make here that
Mhm.
maybe we became famous for once upon a time, like cotton,
Mhm.
or another textile that was used internationally, like hemp. And if only there were other sorts of resources that we have, like thorium or oil or silicon
Steel,
or what steel or
which tariffs were
coal.
used during the Obama administration to bring, to strengthen the steel industry. So, but they didn't care then,
Well,
when that was happening.
you're gonna hate my take on this because it's just so cut and dry, and that's one of the reasons that I hate the topic, which is he doesn't have the power to levy tariffs long term. He can
Long
do
term, yeah.
he can do
Mhm.
emergency short term tariffs. I believe 90 to 100 something days or something like that, where he can impose tariffs,
Mhm.
and then Congress can come back in essentially and back him up on it.
Mhm.
It's supposed to give you enough time to institute a tariff for
Exactly.
something emergency for Congress to get off their ass and
Mhm.
do something. It's not very complicated. It's very simple.
Mhm.
Just get off your ass and do something.
And that's why with this mandate that the American people gave the Republicans, we should be able to see all of this through. And that's why I was saying, if you cut things off in its infancy, like you're saying, he
What
may have it
mandate?
in as far as the Republicans basically being having a majority in the Senate and the House. So
You
like
know,
we have some sort of power. I mean, I know you have the filibuster and whatever, but we have some sort of power to where you can make things move forward. But if you get cut off before you can see it through, before that, the emergency window is over, then everything falls to pieces. But if you do use this time to strengthen industry here and take people's attention away from buying from outside, then it probably, we would be able to continue on without having to push on those tariffs, because we would just be buying from here anyway.
I know what the next topic we're going to talk about is, so I'm trying not to step on the toes of that topic. But there's another country that essentially has been voting for something. They've been voting for whichever party promises something. And that vote always gives them the mandate to do something, and they never do it. So
Mhm.
I personally hate the concept of the voting mandate, because just because the populace, the poli, the proletariat, the anything like that votes for something doesn't necessitate the politicians to actually do it, which basically makes it bullshit.
Mhm.
So, and that's one part of it, because one, you're not guaranteed anything. It's all a compromise. That's what Congress is. It's coming together and making a deal.
Mhm.
Bullshit. But the second part of that is that's the same argument that Democrats used for years, and I think that's a horrible thing to base your impetus. The thing that starts you on a path of actually getting on reform. Let's stop talking about a mandate. Let's just start talking about what's making sense.
I
What
know. I
makes
mean,
sense in the
yeah.
progress of it. Because if you're not going to do this, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we need to get back to the cultural idea that the reason we do things in America is to perpetuate this idea that we're actually good for doing what it is we're doing. It's not that we're doing it because it's good for the fucking rich asshole
Or
over
for
on
the
the side
party.
somewhere, or for the
Yeah.
party. Well,
Mhm.
same difference. I mean, look at
Mhm.
Nancy Pelosi. Look at Lindsey Graham. Look at what's his
Mitch
name?
McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. He's the one with the Chinese wife. All right.
Mhm.
And they have a lot of interesting business deals when you look into him.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people like to talk trash about Nancy Pelosi. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Okay.
Oh
I joked,
yeah.
I
All
joked
the people that
around.
have been in there for decades need to be looked at.
Yeah, I made a joke earlier that we need to launch an ETF that's entirely based off congressional investments, and that way that can be what we essentially base everyone's retirement on, an ETF that tracks Congress's trade or stock trades. Anyhow, getting off that topic though, they're the same people, so we need to stop looking at this like we're sending our best and our brightest to go do anything. Most of these people went to Harvard, and if there's one thing we should know after the last 6 years, people from Harvard are fucking retarded. I'm not joking. Like I had a friend in South Korea, and he was a PhD student, and he went to Harvard for his undergrad and graduate, and he wrote some interesting papers. I'll just put it that way. But you know, he never wanted to share them with me, interestingly enough. And I think it's because he knew I was going to call him out as bullshit. Because I knew he wasn't as smart as what he thought he was. I knew he was a DEI, what's it called? A legacy? It's called a legacy when you get into Harvard.
Like your family. Yeah.
So he was a DEI legacy, essentially, who got in there and then wrote a bunch of bullshit that didn't amount to anything. And the reason that I also know that's true is because the president of Harvard was that. You know what's interesting when you look into her, by the way, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Did you know that the president of Harvard, who was recently kicked out for plagiarizing and a whole bunch of other stuff, did you know that she was in a society there at Harvard?
Oh, like a what do you call it?
Not a sorority.
Sorority.
Not a sorority. It was a group of people, intellectuals essentially, who were going through law school and everything. Do you know who else was in that group?
No. Who? Wait. No. Go ahead. I was going to say Obama.
No, not Obama. But interestingly, Obama was kind of on the periphery of that group because some of the other famous people that were essentially there, I believe it was Ketanji Brown.
I was going to say that, I swear. Yeah.
She was literally one of the people, and apparently she was only 2 years in front or behind. I forget which way it is, but she was either 2 years in front or behind her. And was it Kamala who also went to Harvard? I can't remember who it is that also graduated from Harvard Law. And essentially they were all in the same group. So all of these people basically were having dinners with each other and meeting each other, being dumb. If we think one of them is an idiot and we shouldn't, no, I mean, I'm serious. If we think one of them is an idiot, why would we at any point look at this school as some sort of beacon of intellectualism anymore? I think Harvard should become a badge of shame on your resume.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, she went to Howard.
I knew
it was an H. Yeah.
But there was somebody else who was in the spotlight recently. Like I said, I don't think it was Harris.
It's a large club, and you're not in it.
Oh yeah. But the funny thing is about this, like I'm talking about this, the funny thing about it is this other country that we're going to talk about in a minute has a similar problem with the schools. They all went to the same school.
It's just, oh man. I actually wish we had another hour to tack on to the end of the show, because this kind of like will get me into the topic of Marxism and how it was intentionally implemented, especially in our intellectual institutions, the Ivy League specifically, because if you're going to destroy, you might as well destroy the supposed best and the brightest. So I can't, because I'm just gonna it's just gonna be like this whole thing. But it's really interesting to hear that they were all in this kind of like group of people that they ended up, being the head of all the most important.
Oh yeah, I think it was the Harvard Law Review and a few other things like that. So that was apparently that's the Journal or something. But there's like a group that's essentially like the Society of Legal Professionals or something like that at Harvard, where they basically just go all have dinner together. And again, if you're within 3 years of the other people there, it's not a secret society. It's a very public society. I know about these societies because there was one at my school for history. And the reason that I know that there was one for history was because I was invited to it as a date from a friend of mine who was just looking for somebody to go with her. And
I didn't know where you were going to go with that sentence. Okay.
Oh, no. Trust me. I'm still going to go somewhere weird on this, okay? But I know that that's there because I went to the history one and I won a raffle for an entire crate of like imported alcohol. And then I was invited to a party a week later and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this crate of alcohol. So I'm going to take it. And I drank near half the thing. And that was a very interesting evening. But no. I know that these exist though. I mean, like they're not some secret societies. They're not some cabal of things.
It's like
But
it's not secret, but like the conversations that are had and the movements within.
they're dinner parties where they all get to know each other, shake hands, and when they see each other 10 years later in a professional setting, they're like, oh, hey, Katanji,
Hmm.
this isn't like some
Oh, I think.
crazy thing.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's head over across the pond too, because then we can tie in. Because I know you said you have a lot of notes on this one, and if would you like to read the article for us? Do you
Well,
have it up?
I do. I did pull it up.
Okay.
It's essentially about Kia Starmer and a few things. I actually like the notes that were passed along in the article, so I may just kind of hit the highlights on the notes.
Yeah, please.
Which is Starmer faces rumors of leadership coup after 16 months in office. How many? I believe they've gone through quite a few prime ministers
5
in the
in the
last
past decade.
in the last decade, which it's not even supposed to be anywhere near that. Health Secretary West Streeting, denies involvement despite speculation, and the Labour's poll numbers drop below your Reform UK allies. Warn a challenge now could rattle markets. And the upcoming November 26th budget tax, which is tax heavy, could trigger deeper unrest. And markets already showed jitters with sterling dipping and gilt yields rising. That's great. All of this is good information, and this article is actually really good in the way that it breaks down kind of the things here. What it doesn't really talk about in this entire thing, which I find kind of more telling than anything, there's no mention of the Conservative Party, which is interesting. And there's no, I can't remember exactly what the name of it is, but Reform.
Yeah.
Right here. Reform is only in this article 2 times, and the second time's right before the leftist shift thing. If you're scrolling through this and you want to kind of find that, just above the link to the YouGov poll, public dissatisfaction over illegal immigration, the economy, and criminal justice system following several recent accidental prisoner releases has grown in recent months, with support for right-wing Reform Party growing. They're calling this a right-wing sort of populist party going with it, making it a major threat when local elections are held in May. The next general election is not due to be held until 2029. And the big thing about this, the big hubbub kind of thing that's going on about this, is they're not mentioning really, not Keir Starmer, but Nigel Farage, which I don't believe he's in this article either, but I'll look it up. Nigel Green, that's it. They don't mention Farage. And he's the one leading essentially this Reform Party. And that's kind of where all of this is going. Let me look up Farage specifically, but I'm not seeing it. Farage isn't in this article. So they're not even mentioning the main opposition party for this. So when I see a CNBC article talking about the UK, I'm like, this is kind of just like controlled opposition at this point, which kind of hits on what it is we were talking about before. Every single one of these politicians in the UK went to the same school. They all went to the same school. Well, how do they know that Boris Johnson did unspeakable acts with a pig head? Because they all went to the same school. This isn't complicated. This isn't like overly confounded or anything like that. All of the rumors that were coming out about, oh, who is it? Him and others. Tony Blair, I think, went to the same school. What is it? It's a preparatory school, I believe, which is where they all take their A levels out of. If Born Stiller was here, he could tell me exactly what it is. But prep.
It's not like Oxford. This is something else.
Old UK politicians go to. No, it's like a high school that they all kind of end up going. Eton, Harrow, and Winchester College have a strong history of educating prime minister. Eton, I think, is the main one that most of them have attended, but a few of them have gone to Winchester College as well. Keep in mind that in the UK, college means something completely different than what it means in the United States. A college in the UK essentially is a private high school. Abroad, people call universities. So I know those are interchangeable words in the United States. You go to another country, they are not. These are two very delineated different things that when they're discussed and when they're talked about, kind of thing. So, but yeah, Keir Starmer went to places like this, and a lot of these former prime ministers and current prime minister, they all went to the same school. And so, like I was saying, they know each other because they're all in the same club, and you're not in it. Yeah, that's
and how do
what
you change how do you change like or break the wheel or change the status quo if they're all basically being taught
they're starting
to go down the same path?
They are starting to change the system because they're starting to elect people that weren't born in the UK.
Well, yeah. I mean, change doesn't always mean good, but yeah.
All of this stuff, economists expect Starmer's right hand in the Treasury, Chancellor Rachel Reeves, will be forced to break Labour Party manifesto pledges
of not raising taxes.
It was all basically a plan here to do the same thing. They're dealing with the same problems that we're dealing with in the United States, where we have all of these immigrants and we're having to pay out.
I wonder how that goes like that. How all of these Western civilization countries seem to be dealing with these same exact issues.
A lot of people look at the UK and say the United States is going to go through the exact same thing. What is it in the next 10 years?
Yeah, it's kind of like they're ahead of us a little bit, but we're right behind them.
Well, what's his name is running London, and I can't remember his name, but I always forget what it is. But I think he is Pakistani or something like that. And so,
the mayor, yeah.
And so we're literally looking at the same thing now happening in New York. And so we're literally watching them go down all of this stuff that we're already talking about is going to. You know what I recently started doing, Biddy? This is kind of fun. Whenever you see a problem with a law in the United States, go back and look up and find out what the controversy with that law was back when it was getting passed. It's just a fun exercise, just to see what some opposition person was doing. Essentially, like when they were talking about like regulations on immigration, go look. It was passed in 1980. Go look at what people were writing in the 80s about Ronald Reagan's immigration, the amnesty, the asylum, and the amnesty stuff. Go look at it. They weren't 100% right. They were like 95% right. And that's what a lot of people, the reason that reform is existing is because a lot of people went back and started listening to this one guy who was, honestly, he was repugnant. He was hard to listen to. But he had some points when he was talking in the 70s and 80s about what was going to happen with all this immigration. And you think, no, this isn't going to happen.
Well, I even look at it just on a smaller scale. Like, I know there's a lot larger issues that we have to figure out, but just think of something as simple as school, right? How many days out of the year does a child stay home from school? Not counting like snow days and stuff like that, but all the holidays, all the national holidays, all the Jewish holidays, all this, the that, the other thing. So you start bringing in other cultures, other religions. They have their own holidays as well. So at what point are they going to say, well, the school needs to be closed, we need to make these national holidays as well? Like how does this all even work? And again, that's like a really small potato thing, but it's like,
well, I'm looking at this article again and whatnot, and in this one part they keep talking about the health secretary Wes Streetling or whatever.
Yeah, he's supposedly somebody that they're thinking might or could replace Starmer, but he's he keeps saying I support the prime minister and
But the reason that he's so popular is why?
Well, does it have anything to do with him being young and gay?
He's young and gay, but he's also in charge of the health of the NHS policies essentially around health. And what does the UK essentially go to whenever they start talking about? You cannot go like two steps in the UK in the world of politics without the NIH being brought up. Essentially, NIH. What am I thinking of? Is that what it's called? I don't think that's what it's called. But essentially, the healthcare, the NHS. Sorry, the NHS. Essentially being spoke about. Essentially, I have so many acronyms in my head because I've got acronyms from the U.S. in my head. I've got acronyms from Asia in my head. I've got acronyms.
I even heard this before when I was listening to it, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say if I didn't think it was right.
No, it's NHS. I apologize, but he's in charge of this stuff and everything. But I'd like to talk about that. But you know what comes up before the end of the paragraph? The last words in this paragraph, okay, including Health Secretary Wes Sterling and Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. Now, I remember in my British history the Mahmood clan essentially warring against the Scottish people in an oppressive manner. Historically, the Mahmoods were really there when the UK, when Longshanks went north, right? That was the name of the
Hmm.
clan, Mahmood? That was it?
I don't know. I actually
Okay.
don't.
And Mahmood was
It
also a
sounds
really
familiar.
popular name, especially that other name, Shabana.
Hmm.
Those are real British names. Shabana Mahmood.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, there was actually a podcast between on the Rosie O'Donnell podcast, and she had somebody on, and they were kind of going through the Bible and just kind of looking at like past warring clans and just kind of seeing where the trajectory is going, like different. It was actually really really interesting. If I find it, I'll send it to you if you want to take a look at it. But it was really interesting. This
oh
gentleman is
yeah.
writing a book called Avatar, not Avatar the movie, but it was like something else, and kind of looking at to see how you can predict like how everything is kind of go down this path of
Do you
them
guys
all taking
respond to chat
over.
at all?
Normally yes, but we're kind of like rushing through it. But no, go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say?
no, no. I got something here from is the Sunset Rants or Tinfoil Cast? I can't tell at this point. Where's the tinfoil thing?
Yeah, I know. I wish this was only conspiracy theory stuff that we're talking about because
Like
we're
nothing I've said so far, other than this like utter sarcasm. It's Shabana Mahmood being British. Nothing I've said is not true.
yeah.
Like I can go on at great length and discuss this at more length, but I'm sure Tate and what's his name will also be doing that probably on the weekends because they're supposed to be doing a further podcast. So they're going to follow up on stuff like this, buddy. It's none of this is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, what's his name who just beat the Chargers or whatever? Tommy Robinson. He ain't wrong when he's talking about it. That is 100% going on. Hasty Pudding Club. No, that is not it. But yeah, no, Eaton is there. I get the Pudding Club joke though. That's pretty funny. But yeah, no. So anyhow, I apologize about interrupting. I've been
No, no,
watching
no.
chat this whole time, and I'm like, do I just like sorry?
No, you can. I know Chris is actually really good about that, but also it's like a 2-hour show, so I don't like always, but yeah. Most of the time we do. But we're definitely going to be able to engage with the chat when we do caption this, but just like quickly because I know you said you wanted to get off by 10:15 and the next story is the reason why.
Mhm.
Um
Bring it on.
Yeah, ABC News, Northern Lights display expected for second night in a row for these U.S. states. I mean, I swear the Twitter feed was so gorgeous last night. I mean, Kentucky, South Dakota, I think Colorado, all of these places across the country were people posting these beautiful pictures. I mean, the colors are just insane. I unfortunately didn't have any of that here in New York City, but you know,
I was
and
shocked
Brian,
that Brian knew how to work a camera, but yeah, no.
yeah, he's doing his thing. He's sitting outside right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish it kind of started because then we could see it live. But dazzling waves of color are lighting up the sky this week after green and pink displays of auroras lit up the sky Tuesday night. Another northern light array is expected to bring a gleaming light show to the northern part of the U.S. tonight. The auroras are being caused by one of the strongest geomagnetic storms of the year, which occurs when electrons from the sun collide with Earth's magnetic field to produce colored lights. Aurora is the name given to the glow or light produced when electrons from space flow down Earth's magnetic field, collide with atoms and molecules of the upper atmosphere in a ring or oval centered on the magnetic pole of Earth. The collisions produce light, much like how electrons flowing through gas in a neon light collide with neon and other gases to produce different colored light bulbs. 24 states could see the northern lights Wednesday night
Mm-hmm.
per NOAA's Aurora View Line map that includes Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. Oh yeah, I seen Montana too. Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. Oh, New York. I didn't see anything. Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Go outside tonight. You are going to see it tonight.
You think so? I'm gonna go out there.
Have you not seen a map of this?
No, they have the Viewline map link. Is that what you're talking about?
I think that's probably what I'm talking about. The camera line for the thing or whatever is all the way down in Florida, which means your camera can see it, but you can't really make it out. And then like the lines of visibility, I think, go all the way through like DC. So like they're going to be able to see the Aurora Borealis in DC. And so that's when you were saying you can't see it in New York. I was like, is it overcast? Is it something going on with the weather?
Well, to be fair, I didn't go all the way outside. I kind of looked from my windows, and you can't see like all the angles. So maybe if I would have went outside, but I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go downstairs and go outside because I have like a little deck, but I have a very small situation in here, so I have a ton of my furniture up against the door. So I'd have to move all of that to go out there. But I'm just gonna go outside.
We transitioned down from like a 2,200 square foot house in Texas to a 1,600 square foot house where we're at, and so we have a whole couch set in the garage, and
it's a lot of like, you know, when you're walking.
Well, that's why I still haven't unpacked everything on my shelf here, is because I have boxes that are just full of stuff, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to put here? But if I were in New York, I'd go to that one famous street where you can see the sunset down one way and it rises perfectly up and down. I think there's another street that goes perfectly kind of north-southish, where you could probably see the Aurora Borealis kind of through the buildings. I don't know if you're in
I'm not in Manhattan. No, I'm in the outer boroughs, but I am close to like a large park, so maybe I'd be able to see if I kind of looked. I don't know. We'll see. But it's so cool. Yeah, Central Park. I couldn't believe what I no, definitely not. Even if there weren't a bunch of criminals running around, you have rats like this big. I remember one time I was hanging out in Central Park with like a bunch of friends, and it was dark, and we just like looked over. We were by the basketball courts, and we like looked over, and they were just running across the walkway. They looked like cats. I was like, oh my God, where are all those cats coming from? And my friend was like, those aren't cats, girl. And I was like, okay, we're leaving. Like, we're leaving.
No, there was a lot of talk about, like, the better story with any of this. I've learned over the years that anything I see in a video game has to have some sort of basis in reality. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of like rock structures, buildings, stuff. Some of this stuff is modeled on something. I mean, you don't just make something
it doesn't come
out of nowhere, right?
Exactly.
And so you see these RPGs or something like that where people are going to fight rats and stuff, and I think that's crazy. And then I hear these stories about in New York these things being as large as cats.
They're
and
really
I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, that's probably a problem. Because I've been to places, I've seen things, and I've also seen pictures. I mean, one of my before I die places I want to go is some place called the Isle of Skye. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
And I tell everybody this, and eventually they take trips to Europe or the UK, and I'm like, you need to go visit the Isle of Skye. And they're like, whatever, like kind of thing. And they end up loving it. It's lovely. If I could be there right now for the Aurora Borealis, I would. I don't know if he's about to pull up a picture of the Isle of Skye, but have you ever seen movies like Prometheus or anything like that?
No, but is it good? Because I keep seeing it come on my For You page.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. There's better movies, but it's not a bad movie. But the cinematography of that place, it was shot in the Isle of Skye. Did you look it up?
It's in Scotland.
Yeah, it's in Scotland. It's off the northwest coast. And so when it comes to some place like that, it's absolutely beautiful. And people, I tell people about this, and they're like, oh, whatever. But everyone that I've talked to ends up going to the UK who ends up going to visit this place. They're like, that was hands down my favorite place to ever go on a vacation. There's all kinds of castles that Aaron calls moats and stuff like that. Anyhow, the point I'm trying to get at is crazy stuff you see in video games, like crazy rock formations and skies and beautiful light shows and everything. You can actually see that stuff in real life. Just go outside and touch grass.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, like it's not a video game, but in Lord of the Rings movie, a lot of the backdrops were actual places, rock formations that they just used CGI to kind of put, whatever.
New Zealand, most of it was filmed in New Zealand. You can go see.
Or in Game of Thrones in Croatia, like that whole situation
Croatia,
there.
Russia, Iceland, Greenland. I believe one of the castle for what is it, King's Landing or whatever, I believe is in Italy.
Croatia. That one is in Croatia. Yeah.
Yeah, so you go out and touch grass, man, especially before, people invade and put up places of worship in all of these places and declare them theirs. Go check these places out. Do you know what the largest pyramid in the world is?
In Mayans, in Aztec?
It is in Mexico, but it's not that. It is a pyramid, actually, that was in the La Estancia de Puebla. It's a giant pyramid that essentially they gave up trying to deconstruct. So they took down about half the pyramid and then just covered it in dirt and put a church on top of it.
Wow.
And I've walked through the pyramid. It's crazy kind of thing. One, I had to walk hunched over because I'm 6'4", and the whole hallway is like 5.5 feet tall.
Is that the one where you like clap in front of it and makes like the bird sound?
No, that's Teotihuacan. I've been there too. Yeah. But no. It's crazy places like that. People need to go check it out. And so when I say everybody needs to go outside and check that out, what I mean is everybody who has a chance to go see this needs to get outside and check out these lights as soon as they're visible. They said that it's supposed to start at 10 o'clock. Brian, I don't know if we have an update. Are we overcast here locally or not? I don't think we're overcast. But I do want to see them. And, I've got a bright light kind of shining there, so we're probably not going to see it. But you can see the faint coloring outlines just above the trees. And so I'm going to try to talk my wife into going outside and drinking a beer or something as we wait for the lights to rise, because it's supposed to really shine by 11 and it's not supposed to be out by 2. So I'm going to go pester her and wake her up basically from her mid slumber kind of thing. That's the pyramid from Dusk Till Dawn. No, but that is also a very interesting pyramid. You need to be careful in there though, because they lure you in with these spinning things. I can't remember where those were in the movie, but be careful.
Humongous fidget spinners.
Humongous fidget spinners that are twirled without fingers. Anyhow, be careful when you go to. Have you never seen the movie?
Wait, which one is it?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn, yeah, but I haven't seen it in a hot minute though. But yeah, I've seen the movie.
There's things spinning, but they're not attached to fingers. I'll just leave it with that, Biddy. You can go watch the movie and then get back to me and be like,
I have a lot to do tonight. I gotta go to Scotland real quick and chill at the Isle of Skye. I got a busy night.
But that's my bucket list. One of the only bucket list places I want to see.
Beautiful, my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah. So all right. So I wish we had more time to just keep going with this, because I love all like your fun facts. They're freaking awesome. But we technically do like a 1 hour show, whatever, like we're chilling right now. But we do have one of the best parts of the night. It's our caption this game. So you ready?
You're ready. I haven't seen the picture, so I do want to know this.
Yeah, and I think he actually just uploaded a new picture, so I haven't seen it tonight either. Whenever you're ready, Brian, we're ready. Oh, okay, that's crazy. Look at I swear this is happening one of these days. All right, so this is our game. We call it Caption This. We give you an AI generated image and we ask you, the audience, to please chime in and give us some funny captions. And then tonight, Stork and myself will vote on our favorites and pick a winner for the night. So have at it, chat. Show them how it's done. Hardy says, don't forget to take your creep repellent with you. That's funny. You need a lot of that in New York for all sorts of reasons.
From what I understand, though, with the trip to Scotland, Everybody's real nice. You have to take a bus up there to get to the Isle of Skye. And apparently there are taverns and stuff if you go with a tour group that they'll sit you in, and everybody will just have a good time. So
I want to go. That's on my bucket list for real. Like Ireland and Scotland. I wanted to go some years back, and I was like thinking of maybe. I heard that you can go to Ireland specifically. My sister went. She said if you go, I don't know if it's the same though, because things could have changed. I mean, these are years later, but she said if you go like in the month of March,
yeah,
it's a lot cheaper. And I guess because they have like the holy holidays and everything, so it's not that active. But yeah, I wanted to go like the Cliffs of Moher, and they had equestrian tours that were really beautiful where you can like ride in front of castles. I mean, like how freaking cool is that? If you're somebody who loves like medieval stories and like all this other kind of stuff, I mean, to just do that, that's bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm half Irish Scottish, so it would be nice to go visit.
Well, there you go. Are we supposed to caption that too, or are we supposed to just vote on them? I don't. Am I supposed to?
No, you absolutely can. If you have a caption, go ahead and throw it in the chat.
Oh, what is it? In the rear with the gear? What's the SCV? Hold on, SCV Star Crafts. Yeah, can't remember this. Give me 1 second.
That's fine.
Fine, SCV.
Hardy gave us 2. Then I saw your face. Now I'm a believer. Then I saw your face. All right, and also he says, it's all fun and games until someone loses a face. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. SCV, good to go. I don't know. We could also go with the Violator, where you ruined my favorite skin suit. Yeah, we're going Spawn on that one. But no, I mean it's really kind of in that range of stuff. Man, I'm trying to find this this song or whatever, because the group or the band that did La Bamba, the movie. I don't know if you're familiar. The band that did that was also the same band that was in From Dusk Till Dawn. Interestingly enough. So the band that's playing in the background the whole time, they're the band that was doing the singing and whatnot. And so they're the same band that played in that one. They're a pretty good band. And there was a song that I really liked from them that I found not too long ago, but I don't know what it was. And now it's going to bother me for forever.
Man, I wish I could help you, but bro, you're taking me down like some cool tidbits and stories. I'm just like here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I do that.
And I have a brain like a sieve. That's why I write everything down.
Yeah. But no, the name of the band's Los Lobos. I just can't remember what the name of the song is. But they're a pretty good band. Anyhow, Sauron got the latest ChatGPT update. Pretty much, it's not the years; it's the mileage.
That's
those are
great.
pretty good. Those are pretty good too. What was the Stewie quote though? With what's it like down there? Is there any tread left on tires, or would it be like throwing a hot dog down a highway or a hallway? Yeah. Just remember too. La 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 bum bum. But now the band. That wasn't the name of Richie's Valens band. There is another band that was like behind it, like doing all this stuff.
Yeah, his was the Flying Guitars, right?
Yeah, something like that. And but man, I can't remember the name of this. I was obsessed with this song like a year ago. But anyhow, oh well.
Rebel says, "Give me your keys and clothes, please." Terminator 2. I got something.
What was the Captain Marvel quote or something like that? It was like, "Give me your jacket" or something like that. And
I don't know.
He said, "You need to smile more." And then she stole his jacket and his bike. The whole thing was like that always bothered me. It was supposed to be like an homage to the Terminator.
Yeah.
But like, do you realize that you just made your hero look like a heartless bitch? Like,
they just did it just to have like an Easter egg.
Yeah, like I don't understand why you would want to do this. Like, it makes no sense. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. But yeah, no,
I know this is probably like totally different, so don't come for me because I don't understand like the universes and all that stuff in comics. But my husband bought it at one point when we were like getting a whole bunch of DVDs, and I got the whole thing for, I think it's like the Avengers, like their whole package. and I haven't watched it yet. But I was just looking at it the other day, and I was like, oh wow, we have this, and it's like the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably sit one day and just have it on, just like do like a marathon and just see what all the fuss is about.
I'm sorry, which?
But that's not Marvel. That's Avengers. So that's like totally different, right? Or is it kind of like the Marvel people?
Okay. Avengers are a group of superheroes in the Marvel universe. Now,
got it. Okay.
Whether or not you want to call them heroes, that's a whole other conversation, because is Deadpool a hero? Got a lot of questions there. But the Avengers...
He just laughed at your demise.
Yeah, basically. No. But yeah, no, it's a group of people in the Marvel universe. Wolverine was the Avenger at one point. So kind of throw that in there.
Oh, wait, I'm losing you just a little bit. You kind of went into the tunnel.
Was I cutting out? Yeah, sorry. Wolverine was one of the Avengers at one point. So
okay.
The X-Men and the Avengers are in a shared universe, and Deadpool is in the shared universe, and so it's all
like together. DC Comics and Marvel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll probably forget this again too. It's crazy. I don't know why it doesn't stick.
It's okay. It's one of those things. You're either into it or you're not, and if you're not into it, it's really weird for me.
I was into X-Men. I don't know. It doesn't hold me. Like, even I probably get a lot of heat for this, but like I tried getting into Star Wars and I didn't like it.
Did you try getting into the new Star Wars or the old Star Wars? No,
the old one. The first one was cool. You know, I can see the nostalgia and all of that stuff. I actually like Spaceballs really, but I don't know. It didn't grab me. I don't know if like you had to have watched it your whole life. I don't know.
I feel bad because I feel like we have like a few like submissions for this, and then we have La Bamba basically going up in the chat. So we've got this weird mix of things. I apologize, but yeah, no, we sort of got off track there. But no, the in terms of which universe to go with, I would say watching until the first Infinity War movie, if you're going chronologically by release, isn't too bad. Star Wars, I would suggest watching it in the order of release, A New Hope up through there, and then go back and watch episode 1 through 3. But you can basically skip all the sequels.
Yeah, that I've heard for sure. That I've heard.
But
like, you know, I love Game of Thrones. I love, you know, Lord of the Rings. I think is awesome and stuff like that. I don't know why. I can't get into it.
Keep this in mind. Star Wars is not a sci-fi adventure. It's a fantasy movie. So stop looking at it like spaceships. Start looking at it like knights walking around with swords. George Lucas based the entire thing off of samurai and like ninja kind of thing.
Oh.
And so it's like an honor-bound society. There's lots of stuff there with the hero's journey in that, because he was kind of interested in that. So you really have to think of the Jedi as being more of a samurai culture as opposed to this. So think like you're watching like a Japanese or medieval fantasy set in space.
Oh, well, I just watched The Last Samurai. That was a sick movie.
Well, yeah. That. What's actually kind of funny is Chewbacca originally was actually supposed to look more like an orc than a Wookiee.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that one of the characters in episode 3, when they're in Jabba's palace, looks like an orc, like full on, like tusks, like everything, you know, has like rings in his mouth, walking around with an axe. That's why he looks like that, because it's supposed to be a fantasy universe. It is not sci-fi. And then he introduced the midichlorians, which was absolutely trash.
Cardi's just like pumping them out tonight. Pass me that lipstick. I should have been a toaster. If you think this looks bad, you should see the dishwasher. That's funny. I like that one.
That may be actually my favorite. I'm scrolling through chat right now. Give me your keys and clothes. That one's still pretty good. But no, yeah. I think either I should have been a toaster, or what was the one that you just read that I scrolled past a second ago?
If you think this looks bad, you should see the dishwasher. I like that one. I think I'm going with that one.
That one's funnier because there's so many ways you can go with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you have like your robot that's like home, you know, as an appliance, and the appliances are fighting.
You've got two ways to do that. You could either do a female-looking robot, essentially, that's like I'm trying, or you could go with like the kind of dishwasher-looking robot from Star Wars, like it's like coming around kind of thing. And you just put like a blaster hole on the side of that with like some sort of AI generation. Both of them are good. but I
Right.
think the dishwasher one is my favorite.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations, Hardy. We're if you think this looks bad, you should see the dishwasher. Great cash in, and thank you all for always submitting Hardy wins. Yeah, we got to get like a little whatever sound machine. But yeah, if you guys
Yay!
like right, like something like the audience thing, like the View has, I'm sure, like their little audience button.
Shoe on Head has this soundbite that was real popular in the mid 2010s or whatever, of like the whole audience and it's like kids or whatever, and it goes yay. That should be the soundbite that gets played.
That is cute. Yeah, yeah. But this was really great. I hope you join us again, Stark. It was great, like officially meeting you. And if you do have more time, it would be great to have you on again.
Yeah, I've told people what my schedule is because I will be exiting the country, which means they've got to find a new what is his name again? Marco Rubio for the Discord.
The Timcast Discord, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was fun. I enjoyed this. It was good. So.
Well, thank you. And you can, if you'd like to follow Madstork on X, there's handle right there, Madstork91. You can always follow me, Elizabeth213A. You can follow the show at TheRealRoma_AK. You can also go to our website, which is riseofmiddleamerica.com. You can get all our socials there. You can see all our hosts. You can see all of our recent videos and uploads. You can also get our merch there. It's one of my favorite ways to support the channel. You can get some cool merch with some of the old caption. This winners, we're actually working on uploading those hopefully soon. You can use the Q&R code up at the top of the screen here. That'll take you right to the website. And of course, you can join the Discord if you want to hang out with us after or before or on the weekends or whatever. Somebody's always in there chilling. I'm in there, all of us. So definitely come and hang out with us. And I thank you guys so much always for the support and the love and hanging out with us and joining us every week. Don't forget we have the show tomorrow, of course, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any final thoughts, Stork?
No, other than I am never going to get into an idea generation conflict with Hardy Harmonica because the dude is still.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. They're like veterans, especially with the caption. We've been doing it for months and months and months now, so they're just ready with it. They were waiting for it.
I've watched most of Sunset Rants, but sometimes when it gets towards the end and whatnot, I consume a lot of media. So a lot of times when people start going into things like you can find blah blah blah, I just click off. And so if you've done these caption this after an outro, I've just missed it. It's the first time I've seen it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's cool, especially because we're always talking about. When you talk about the news, it's never like happy stuff. I mean, sometimes. So it's good to have like a palate cleanser, laugh. Remember why we're fighting so hard to get everything in order.
There you go.
But God bless you all. Later, Hardy. Later, everybody. Hey, Judah. Good evening. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And watch the Northern Lights. I'm going to go out and check it out. Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.